A goal without a plan is just a wish. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for tuning in to our season finale episode review recap of Powerbook. All right, episode 10, Love and War. Let's see if any of our predictions from last week actually took place or went into play. I think some of them did, right? So, let me give a shout out to Quentin Baptiste, who said, R.I.P. Lauren. You was on the money with that one, which we'll get into shortly, but I was hoping that Lauren wasn't dead. I was thinking in my head, like, maybe Effie just let her go. Maybe Effie just, put her in the car, scared her a little bit, but had a change of heart because she knew, like, this was the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? But nah. We find out that was not the case, unfortunately. But we're going to start from the very top. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Thanks so much for those of you that are returning back to my channel. Shout out to y'all. We're going to be doing Powerbook 4 next with Tommy as the star. And anyone who is just tuning in for the first time, I appreciate you all just going ahead, hitting that button, boom, 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 and turning on your post notifications. Let's get it. So Monet, she's out here living the good life, okay? She is getting gifts, a lavish, expensive gift. She's on a yacht. Like, yes, boo, she's living the life. But, remember, they had came up with this plan where they was going to take Lorenzo out. But now it seems as though homeboy, Mr. Mecca, Mr. Dante, is kind of having a change of heart. And now it seems like he doesn't want to do it. But he said, nah, like he still wants to do it. But he feels like the best way to do this so that things don't kind of hit the fan for them. Because, of course, when somebody dies, their spouse is always going to be the first person. So if they have an alibi, like, nah, we have photos, we have videos. We was in the crib, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had nothing to do with this. If they have that alibi, then they'll be good. So Monet was like, you know what, he pretty much said, like, maybe Kane should be the one to do it. So she was like, you know what, all right. And he was like, that's a good way for him to kind of mentally know, like, yeah, Kane is really on board. Because he said he was going to do it, but it's like, did he just say that at the moment, or is he really down with it? So this would be a good way to kind of prove himself and show his true loyalty, because he already done messed with this dude, you know what I'm saying? So now Tyriq was calling Lauren over and over again to kind of see what's going on, because, he wanted to just check in, make sure she was good, and she reached her destination. Effie, she was like, yo, you don't got to worry about her. I'm sure she's good. Like, just kind of easing his mind and making sure, like, he understands, like, you don't even have to stress it. I wonder why she was so invested in telling him not to worry. She didn't want him probing and going any further. That's why. She just reassured him that she would be there for him every step of the way. Like, don't think you don't have people. Like, me and Braden, we your people. Like, we got you at the end of the day. Like, And Tyriq let her know that, you know what, like, if anything happens to him, like, he needs her to, like, hold his sister down or look for her, whatever, since he's not going to be able to do it. And he's like, you know what, like, other than my mother, like, you're the only person that I can trust, So I'm like, dang, you putting a lot on this chick. Like, wait until you find out. I feel like he's gonna find out in the next one. Like, something's gonna happen where he's gonna end up figuring out that there was some type of connection, you know what I'm saying? But we'll see. We're gonna see. Now, Tyriq, he ends up having court. Now he finds out that Trace, which is Braden's brother, is going to be on the stand. So, of course, he's like, damn, because he knows everything that went on with Trace and, the kidnapping and the robbing and all this stuff that they was doing and being block boys. So, Trace actually knows a good amount, which can implement him into certain things. So, that was kind of like, damn, Now, Dante, he was trying to convince Zeke that he should go away with them and start a new life and just switch things up. But Zeke, he wasn't fully convinced. Like Zeke seemed like he was a little blown away by everything. Like he was a little, kind of getting lost into the scene and everything that was going on. But he also took a moment to ask Dante if Monet was actually with him. And he's like, the way that he said it is like he was just kind of testing him to see what he would say. But the way that Dante answered, and it's like they was doing this a lot in this episode. Well, more than once. It's like somebody would ask a question or somebody would put something out there, and a person that was responding kind of answered in a clever way in which they didn't really fully answer the question. They just kind of tiptoed around it or kind of danced a little bit around it, did a little around the answer, so that it could kind of mess your brain up and you wouldn't really ask. But see, with me, I'm the type of person that if I ask you a question, I want a complete answer. Like, you're not going to tell me something else, because I'm going to come right back to that question and ask you that question in a different way if I need to ask you. Like, you're not going to play with my head, because I'm one of those people, like, I'm an overthinker. So it's not going to be that easy to kind of, play with me. Unless I just feel like I'm over it and I don't want to keep on going back and forth, then perhaps, I might just let it go. But other than that, like, in most cases, I'm going to keep on asking you in a different way, until you answer my question. I'm going to be like, but that's not what I asked you. You know what I'm saying? So that's just kind of how that works with that. But he kind of tiptoed around it and just was like, like, your mom, she just wants to make sure that you're always good type of thing. So, yeah. So at that point, he gives Zeke a car, like some expensive car. So that kind of like, threw things off a little bit, and he was good, because it was a really nice, expensive car. So it's like the way this dude is kind of like getting into everybody's good graces is trying to buy their happiness, as it does say, like, everybody can be bought. What's your price? But I mean, honestly, I don't feel like every single person could be bought, because I know there's some things that regardless of how much money you give me, I would never compromise in order to just get money. So it kind of depends on the situation. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but that's just how I stand. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Monet, she starts playing games and she tells Kane that she's going to actually, like, she convinces him that he's going to be the one to do the whole Lorenzo situation. Because initially he didn't really want to do it, but she kind of plays with his head a little bit and talks about how it's like, where's Tyriq at right now? Because this dude, he offed his father. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and Kane is like in this competition, this secret competition with Tyriq, where he wants his mother to see him as a top dog, not some other dude that's not even her son. Like, he's trying to get that number one place in her heart. So for him to hear that, it's like, nah, I got this. Like, he just switched it up real quick. Like, I'm gonna do this. Like, ain't no problem. Like, give me the gun. I'm out. I got this. Now, Brayden had to go on the stand instead of his brother, because his brother was sick. So, at that moment when I saw that, I'm like, shit. Because I know that, Brayden was upset for the simple fact that Tyriq kind of betrayed him. And even though he said he wasn't going to do the whole thing with the photos, like, he ended up, like, he asked him not to put his father out there with the photos because it was a connection to him and his family. He still ended up doing it because he so needed to win his case that he was willing to do anything, even kind of risk Brayden's family in the process. So I'm like, damn, like, how is this gonna go? Like, is this dude gonna remain loyal to the end, or is this dude gonna switch up right now and fold? So the crazy thing about it was that when he was being, on the stand and getting questioned, he ends up just putting it out there that he was selling drugs and that he had this course correct, and he knew that Tyriq had nothing to do with this and did not kill Carrie or anybody else. So well, he didn't kill anybody. So it's just like, he just put it all out there. Even though that was not even really the question that was being asked. He knew that this would throw off everything and that would save his boy. So he did what he had to do, and it eventually got the case dismissed, like, just like that. And they try to do it so if there were any issues that were to arise, that they would be able to reintroduce the case. But the way that Sachs and Davis made it was that, I think they said without prejudice or something. I don't know really the difference in the terminology, some word there, but that pretty much means like they can't bring it back up. Kind of like the situation that happened with his father when his father was on trial, and after that they couldn't put him back on the stand for anything related to that incident. So it just worked out magnifique for him, you know? So it just really worked out pretty good. And the reason why, because I'm like, yo, why would Brayden put himself out there like that? But at the end of the day, like, he had immunity, so he was good. He, regardless of what he said, like, nobody could touch him. He was untouchable, because remember, his lawyer had made sure of that from the beginning. His father was vexed. His father was mad. Yo, you could see the steam coming out of his nose, his ears, like every orifice that he had. It was like you could see it just like kind of coming out of there because he was so freaking mad. So at the end of the day, Tyriq is still trying to get his sister back, even though like he done gone through all of this. I'm like, dude, just leave it alone. Like, you got so much going on. You need to like worry about yourself right now. Like, you don't have any time, any energy, any of this. And now the place that, well, I'm not even gonna get into that. Well, I could say it now because Lauren is officially dead. So Sachs was able to find out that information through the defense attorney. She was the one who told him what happened. And so she was actually in a car accident from what she told her. She had a bag full of money, which we saw with Effie in that car, bag full of money, no plates on the car. And initially this DA, she's feeling like Tyriq had to have killed both Carrie and Lauren, which ironically enough, he didn't do any of them. And Sachs is like, you know what, like normally like I'm not even with this little shit, like I don't even care about him, but I really feel like he had nothing to do with any of this, because at the end of the day he also had a tracker on him, so there's no way, you know. So that kind of kills that particular thing. I mean, at the end of the day, if he really wanted so he could get somebody to do it, but that's like a whole situation. That shows that you can't necessarily pin it on him, you know. So she was telling him that, well, he told her like about his almost attempted suicide situation, because they were talking about how Carrie probably didn't commit suicide or whatever, and he talks about his almost suicide attempt, you know, his unsuccessful because of when he was so obsessed with getting Tyriq's father, with getting Ghost. So he tells her, you know, maybe at this point you should just kind of leave it alone and stop going after him. And she was just like, if I walk away from this, then at some point you kind of become an accomplice. And that's why we can't be together. So I think that at that moment, that just kind of made him think about things like, you know, because that's kind of what he did. Like, he was going so hard, but then now he is kind of like an accomplice. I mean, more so him than she would be, because if she doesn't go after him, like, you're just moving on to your next case. Like, he literally kind of went over to the dark side, you know, like he's literally with the prosecutors. Is it defense? I don't know. I'm not with all these legal terminologies, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, he's with the people that's defending the criminals, you know? Maybe I said it wrong earlier, because I said defense attorney. Is she a prosecutor? But she's a DA, right? Whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all get me. I just don't know. I forget the girl name. Too many names to remember, y'all. So anyways, now Tyriq tells Monet that he wants to kill Mecca, right? And he tells her, he pretty much spills the beans about everything about Mecca, aka Dante Spears. He tells her about him being a federal informant. So now she's pissed about this and she ain't with it. She's like, you know what? Like, I'm going to handle this. I'm going to make sure. She was like, you know what? you just come up with a plan with Kane to kill off his father, and while y'all doing that, I'm gonna take care of him, and then, you know, so that I can protect Lorenzo. So right now she's back in her, you know what, Lorenzo's my everything, I'm going back to him, like, just like that, like, just simple. You know what? It's like she was flip-flopping, going back and forth. It's crazy how, like, they could love you one minute but then want to kill you the next. Like, I don't know, like, they all just cut different. Like, I guess betrayal will make you do that real quick, like, make you switch up everything that you thought you knew, you know. But he was just like, you know, before you kill him, I need to get some money from him that I was supposed to be getting. So let's just make sure we do it properly. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, he's supposed to get that $2 million. He's trying to get that money back. Monet also ends up telling Lorenzo about everything. And once she told him, like, Lorenzo was trying to handle everything, but she's like, nah, like, I'm gonna be the one to do this. So then Lorenzo ends up talking to both Drew and Diana to come up with a plan as far as like how they're gonna all work together to take this man down. He's like, yo, la family siempre primero, like pretty much saying the family's always first, so we gotta do this. So they was all in after that, you know. So Zeke ends up going to the police office to talk to that investigator dude, the lead dude, and just to kind of, I just feel like he made it mad hot, because he goes up there like, yo, is there, like, when you guys checked Carrie, are you sure that it was a suicide? Like, is that what you saw? And he's like, yeah. Like, why? Do you have any other information that we need to know? And he's like, nah, like, I just wanted to know. Like, that's pretty much it. And that actually ends up having this guy look a little deeper into things. And he finds out that Monet was actually in the car going towards her vicinity. So by Zeke seeing this information, it completely crushed him, because that kind of solidified the thoughts that he had in his mind that his mother had killed off the woman, because she told him many times, as well as Dante told him, that they were together. But this proves the fact that she was not. She said that she went straight over to Dante's house. Dante's house, I'm pretty sure, is not in the same area as her house. So that right there just kind of proves like that his mother was the one who did it. And so that part was really messed up, and it just kind of crushed him. It broke him. So Sack ends up telling Tyriq about the situation, that Lauren is dead. And of course, from there, he was like pretty much pissed about it. He's like, it got him thinking. He's wondering, like, you know, who could have done this. He's kind of thinking that it possibly could have been Kane. It's just, I'm pretty sure like he's not going to let this go so easily, because at the end of the day, he did care about her. I feel like he kind of let it go for this episode, even though he did bring it back up at one point when he was in the car with Kane, but it kind of like still brushed over because there was so many other things going on at that moment. So I'm pretty sure like he still has this at the back of his head, and I feel like this is going to resurface in season 3. So Tyriq does tell Effie about the situation, about her being dead, and she just kind of was like, you know, don't worry about it. And this kind of makes him contemplate getting his younger sister again, because he feels like everything that, or people that he gets close to, or people that he loves, a lot of them end up dead. You know, like his father's gone, even though it was at his own hand. His sister Raina is gone, you know, and other people throughout his life that he actually either cared about or had a close connection to, they're gone. So he feels like perhaps it might be safe for her to not be with him, you know? So Tamika went to go visit Tasha, Tamika, the attorney, the lawyer. And she ends up bringing her daughter, which was pretty cool. So now they're going to have a nice little life or whatever as different people. ironically enough, Tyriq was in the car looking at them. And I think Tasha could kind of feel his presence even though she couldn't see him, because she looked directly at the car that he was in and she smiled at it. It's like she knew that he was there even though she didn't know for a fact, you know? So at least they was able to kind of reunite, and the daughter doesn't have to be alone. The mom doesn't have to be alone anymore either. So that was really nice. And he did give his sister a letter that, like a note from Tyriq that said that, you know, he needs to get the money and the power. Actually, I thought it was power, but it's actually powder. He said he needs to get the money and the powder so that he can get back to both her and Yaz, I should say. So Dante, he saw that Tyriq was coming, and this was like, okay, so there was like so much that went on. So Tyriq, he ends up going over to Mecca because this was part of the plan. Like after they ended up taking out all of Dante's people, Tyriq was supposed to go over by his house, but shit just got crazy. Like when Kane was over by when Drew, they was doing like the whole bag switch and everything. It's just like so much. I'm trying to like say it so it makes sense. When, let me see which part I'm gonna say. So Drew, he had the fake bag or whatever. The people that used to work for his father pulled up on him, beat him up, like started kicking him and everything. And he was about to meet his maker. All of a sudden his brother came, saved him, and luckily, you know, everything went down good. And they was able, because I thought he was about to be done. Like that's what I was thinking in my head, because it looked like it was a wrap for him. He was getting beat up so badly, punched, kicked, but he found the strength to him and his brother. Just, and it was making him turn into a savage. Like he was ready to shoot the dude in pretty much, like, I wouldn't say broad daylight because it wasn't daylight, but just like out in the open. His brother's like, nah, like not right here. It's like, let's take him with us, put him in the trunk, and then Papi will make an example out of him. Like, not right here though. Like you bugging, bro. So he was lucky, because if it wasn't for his brother showing up at that moment, like it would have been a wrap for him. But he was going out like a G at the end of the day. Like he wasn't begging. He wasn't doing none of that. Like he was just like, if you do what you gotta do, like I'm not begging for my life. Like I was like, okay, Drew, I see you. You know, he's really starting to get into this life. I feels like he's definitely changing. But so Lorenzo asked Diana if she looked into the bag, because they kept on reiterating to her like not to look into the bag, not to look into the bag. But she said that she's like, why does everybody think that I'm some kind of snitch or something? Like I'm the person that can't be trusted. He was like, no, but you know, sometimes you got to do things so you could stay ahead. So she looked in the bag, and lo and behold, she tells him that in the bag there was like bank accounts, there was passports, like there was all these things pretty much for all of them to start a new life. So him hearing that, it just kind of made him like find a new level of strength that he's like, nah, like I gotta do this myself. Like this dude is really trying to legit steal my family. Like you're trying to disrespect me and my whole entire family, like to steal my family away from you, my kids. Nah, this ain't gonna happen. Like I gotta take you out myself. Like now it was on revenge mode. Like he had to do what he had to do. So homie went out looking for this dude, like, cause he knew that they were supposed to be flying away. Went over by the jet that he saw him. He saw a dude running towards the jet stairs. He's like, yo, he's by himself? Okay. Alright. Bang, bang, bang. Shot up the person that was walking up the jet stairs. The only problem with that was that the person that was walking up the stairs was actually Zeke. So now, boom, he's done. Meanwhile, here goes Monet. She's at the penthouse or whatever. Dante's looking at the monitor because Tyriq just showed up, and his plan was going to be to just kill off Tyriq once he came up on the elevator. So Monet ended up handling that situation. So ironically enough, she just lost her past just all in one night. She lost her son and she lost her baby father, I guess you could say. You know, the man who wanted to take her into a different life and actually, you know, be her new husband, you know, and raise her three other kids that are like pretty much grown and would probably hate him for the rest of their lives. I'm like, dude, are you really thinking about this? Because they're all grown. They know who their father is. They would know that you did this. Why would they be loyal to you? Why would they be okay with you? Like, he really wasn't contemplating this too well. Like, this whole plan to me for him was like a fairy tale. Like, he just thought they was going to live happily ever after and everybody was just going to love him because he has money or something. The money and the power and the powder, you know? It's crazy. So at this point, I'm like, I was tight because I'm like, yo, Tyriq had to get buzzed in downstairs. So I'm like, they're going to think that he did it, you know, when everything hits the fan. And lo and behold, when Agent Rodriguez, who we know from regular Power with Ghost, when she looks at the grainy footage, she notices, boom, right away. Because they was like, oh, because I was thinking in my head, and then they were saying that everything got scrubbed, like the cameras and stuff, like you can't see anything. And the security guard said he didn't see anybody suspicious. So now it's like they got this one photo from one of the cameras outside that was like kind of grainy, and she knew right off the bat that it was Tyriq. And I'm like, here we go again. This dude's always getting himself into some crap. And I knew it as soon as, like, I knew that they left the body there and it was found. I'm like, yo, he's gonna get caught up in this. And boom. And now it's not even with the same people, it's with different people. So, or maybe perhaps because of a different charge, now they could put him right back where he just started. I'm like, this kid always in something. Like, how you gonna explain this? Sax, at this point, he's ready to risk it all, and he is going to be like an informant for his boo because he's ready to turn over a new leaf. I feel like he's just being a simp. Like, I just feel like he's being pum whipped. And he's over here just doing anything for love. And I don't even know if this chick really wants to be with him at the end of the day. Like, I feel like she's just kind of playing him because she knows, like, she could have him as a mole, you know? And at this point, she got embarrassed so much that she's willing to do whatever. And this dude is falling for it because he wants to be with somebody so badly. So, I don't know. I just feel like this is going to be a bad idea. And yeah, he's like, you know, if they find out, I'm probably dead, but I'm gonna do this for you. And I'm just like, bro, you serious right now? Like, you a dummy. I can't respect you. Like, what are you doing? Like, if anything, just quit and go back to the other side if that's what you want to do. But I guess he can't really do that because he got fired and all that stuff. He had all the issues. So I guess that's the problem with that. I'm assuming, but I don't really know. But yeah, so Tate, he's ready to be back in office and he wants his brother to be head of security. I don't know if his brother's really with it because he seemed like he's still tight about how his brother kind of played with him and made him look bad in court on that case. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens. But when you got that money, that power, you know, sometimes you will change your morals, your beliefs, and at the end of the day, you know, as Lorenzo had said, la familia siempre primera, so, o primero. So, you know, family's always first, so la siempre familia primero. So yeah, we'll see how that goes down. But he already know that he got this in the bag because he got that proof. Effie and Tyriq, they seem like they're moving forward with their relationship, so we'll see how that turns out. I know shit's going to hit the fan if he finds out, and I kind of do want him to find out. Maybe he'll kill her. I don't know, like, I just don't trust her, and then she just deceived him. It didn't have to go down like this, so I don't know. I ain't really with her right now. And finally, Monet, she gets the call. You know, first they was finding out the information about Dante Spears and how he got taken out. But once that was done, she got a call from the same guy that Zeke had spoken to, that lead investigator, who let her know that if she asked her if she was a legal guardian of him, and then told her that her son, I'm like, how you ask if she a legal guardian, then you gonna tell her also that that's her son? Like, damn, you done did a whole investigation on the bro. But yeah, that her son, Ezekiel, is dead. So, yeah. She just got some really bad news. I know that definitely crushed her, because even if she had any ounce or thought of still having that backup plan, it's completely shattered. It's completely done. That was something that kind of kept her mind together, kept her doing something outside of all this craziness. But now that's legitimately like done. It's over, you know? So now she's probably going to get back full and heavy into this. But if she ever find out that Lorenzo did this, I don't know how that's going to go, because she loved this kid and she felt like things was about to change, you know? Like, he was her purpose. He was the one good kid that was pure and untouched with all of this stuff that was going on, you know? So I'm pretty sure she going to be pretty pissed off and revengeful if she find out that he did it. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Let me know what you thought about this episode and what you think is going to happen. If you want to know, let me know down below. I will see you guys for season 3, but we still back for Powerbook 4. Force.